tragedy in Devon. Around 30 years ago, the former serial killer, Rose West, was arrested at 25 Cromwell Street in Gloucester, along with her spouse, Fred West. The two were found guilty of murdering 12 young girls between 1971 and 1987. The former press are looking into the psychology of Rose West during her younger years, and how it could have either impacted her to become that way or being born out of genetics, as they'll visit her in her house in Norfolk.
30 years ago, an incident occurred in Gloucester, in the small peaceful neighbourhood of Cromwell Street. Under the investigation, it was found that two suspects, Fred and Rose West, were the one involved, with Fred committing 2 counts of murder, while Rosemary committed 10. They lived together in number 25 with their children, along with Fred West working as a tradie. It's unusual for serial killers to create such shock and regrets across the nation, but for now, we'll find out why such individuals like these separate their minds from human beings. They lived together in number 25 with their children, along with Fred West working as a tradie. It's unusual for serial killers to create such shock and regrets across the nation, but for now, we'll find out why such individuals like these separate their minds from human beings.
Today, we're going to the depths of the Rose West case, by starting off here in Morena Park Road, the place in Norfolk where Rose West was born.
During my research into the horrific scene that happened 30 years ago, 2 of my colleagues went up to me and asked about the situation. One said, "I think it is amazing how no one noticed any signs that she had psychotic tendencies and faults." And the second one said, "If this happened today, her symptoms would have been noticed and she could have been stopped."
Now this is the place where Rose West was born, along with her father who was an ex-military for the Second World War. When he returned home, he was very abusive and punished his mother and her by doing marches and many military punishments such as washing the floors with toothbrushes.
In the 1950s, Britain was still in repair from the Second World War. Despite the Luftwaffe no longer flying over them, there was another problem, being the mental health of their family. Rose's mother was suffering from depression at the time and was given electric shock therapy, while pregnant with Rose West. This caused some to argue that this kind of treatment have caused scars and prenatal development injuries that would have affected the brain while she was still in her womb, while others argue that there is more behind it than just the treatment. Another reason for Rose West to develop this way can be argued because of her father, not only because he was abusive, but because he was suffering from a disorder known as schizophrenia, which researchers of the National Institutes of Health found that the disorder is 90% inheritable. When I asked the public how Rose West affected Devon, a young college student by the name of Barnaby Goodwin liked to voice his words about the killer and how it affected Devon as a whole.
I think Rose West affected the Northam area of Devon quite a lot because it was a huge case at the time and it definitely shocked a lot of people around the area, and to know she came from such a small town in Devon is quite shocking, and it almost puts a bad light onto Northam when that is a town there's nothing like that and it's a nice place and doesn't deserve that sort of bad rep that it gets from what happened. It's definitely a horrifying case, but it's not to put down Northam in any way. And Devon has recovered over the last few years, but obviously a lot of people are still very affected by this case, and hopefully better things can come out of Northam that really turn the light around of how that area is viewed.
While asking others around the college for their opinions this matter, 2 quoted anonymously, "It's surprising no one noticed any signs of her obvious deranged mental state," and the other one said, "I think what she did was sick and that her and her husband should have been executed." While Northam can be seen as a beautiful seaside town full of beaches and rich history, it does bear the mark for one of the most infamous serial killers that ever walked the earth, committing the most horrendous and atrocious crimes that even 30 years after, her atrocities still scar its town. It is important to acknowledge the 12 victims that sadly fell under the atrocities that Rose committed between the years of 1971 and 1987, as it had impacted those who cared and for the families that had high hopes for them. Frankie Taylor, BBC News.